People who speak a second language. What have you overheard people saying about you when they thought you couldn't understand? Sat across from two German girls on a train. They said I was 7 out of 10, maybe 8 out of 10 if he smiled more. Looks like his mother died or something. Smells nice though. I told them my mother was fine. I was working construction, white guy in Nashville, only one on the site who spoke English. The painters were talking about my man boobs in Spanish. So, in Spanish, I yell back across the house, they're still nicer than your sisters. Dead silence, then roaring laughter. I got greeted with a super enthusiastic "Hi, gringo." Every morning after that. Many things overheard. But my favorite moment was early on when I first moved to Japan in 1994, waiting on the train platform in a rural village when a mother and her young son come through the gate. Immediately the son grabs her mother's hand and tells her in Japanese that they have to be careful of me, that I'm a dangerous foreigner. He promised to protect her but he was hiding behind her. We had a long wait. Eventually he decided he could creep closer, still muttering under his breath about the foreigner. So I muttered back, "I love Japanese children. They're delicious." He ran screaming. I did not feel bad about it. At a blackjack table in an Indian casino, two Mexican dudes were kind of drunk and talking business. Big business. Of the Breaking Bad variety. I kept my head down and mouth shut and pretended I didn't hear a goddamn word. Lawyers, what was your oh shit moment in court? I finished a murder trial yesterday. I was representing the defendant. The only defense I had was there was no body found. I knew I was going to lose the case, so for my closing argument I looked at my watch and I told the jury the victim is going to walk through that door in a minute. The entire jury looked over at the door waiting for that person to walk through. Of course, the person did not walk through. I then told the jury, look, you had to have had some reasonable doubt that my client did it because you were waiting for the victim to walk through the door. That's it, that was my closing argument. Well, guess what? The jury came back with a guilt verdict. I asked the jury afterwards what happened. I said, you all looked at the door. The jury said, yeah, we all did look at the door, but guess who did not? Your client.
Today I fucked up by complimenting a girl's skirt. I was at a party and saw a girl across the room. She was wearing a skirt, holding a drink in one hand and had the other hand in her pocket. I saw her skirt, thought to myself how cool that skirt is having pockets. A lot of women I know complain about not having pockets, so this is a very progressive thing. A bit later, I got around to talking to her. I complimented her skirt and how pockets in a skirt is great. She looked very confused, said, my skirt doesn't have pockets, why would you think that? I mentioned that I had seen her earlier with her hand in her pocket. Her face went bright red and revealed that her hand was amputated. What I thought was her hand in her pocket, was her stump resting against her hip. I apologized immediately, but luckily she thought it was funny because she'd never heard that comment before. I'm still dying inside though.
I think my marriage might be over and beyond salvaging, and I don't know how to feel. I, 37M, am married to an incredible woman, 34F. We've been together for 16 years in July and married for 9. She was diagnosed with breast cancer nearly 10 years ago, and so we decided for medical legal reasons we should be married. She got the all clear less than a year later, but it basically ended off our physical relationship altogether. Her libido was non-existent through chemo, and then she took a long time to recover, understandably. We were probably intimate literally 3 or 4 times a year for those few years. I always thought things would recover, but they never did. We haven't been intimate since last summer, and before that I don't even know when it was. I haven't really had a physical relationship for almost 10 years. Then since COVID our romantic relationship has also taken a hit. We no longer do any non-sexual physical touching, she pulls away if I hold her hand, etc., and she's not interested in spending time with me. I've tried to arrange dates, but she'll either flat out not go or act disinterested. I've suggested marriage counseling for us, fun therapy, etc. I got a vasectomy so she could come off birth control in case that was it. I tried letting her have her space, writing letters. Nothing works. Then a month ago a new colleague at my work joined 30S, and she has been flirting with me. I've tried keeping my distance, but admittedly the attention is giving me butterflies. I love my wife and I would never stray or hurt her, but it's making my heart ache for everything I no longer have. Edit, because this is all people are fixating on. I don't want to date or sleep with my colleague. I want the attention that she gives, but I want it from my wife. She's the only person I've ever loved or wanted. I'm not suddenly going to sleep with someone behind her back. I wouldn't have waited 10 years if that was the kind of person I am. I'm many things, but I'm a better man than that.
Students who've done with their teachers. Story. Well, I was 17 at the time. Not sure how old she was, but I would guess early 30s. I would visit her just to say hello because she was friendly. I go down there one afternoon and say hello and chat a little, and after a while she asked me how my dating life is going. One afternoon I go to visit and she asked me, how come you have so much time to visit me? A few weeks go by and I'm walking home as a car pulls up nearby and she leans her head out the window and asks if I need a lift. I say sure. Why not? We begin to drive and she says I just need to drop some things off at my apartment. Is that okay? We get to her apartment and she says I can wait on the couch. She comes back from some room and looks at me in a way I've never seen her and says, You know, out of all the students I talked to, I'm the most comfortable with you. She puts her hand on the back of my head. While this entire time I'm frozen. I don't know what to do. What to say? Nothing. She tells me to relax, grabs my hand, leads me to her bedroom, and well, the rest is history.